Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, December 30th, and it's the last What's in the Box of 2025. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. I myself am getting over a little bit of a cold right now, so the energy level may be a little down. My voice is definitely affected. So you're not going to get that rich, smooth, sexy, bearded voice that you normally do in the videos, but you'll just have to bear with me. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. Tomorrow will be the last new comic book day of 2025. And surprisingly, I think there's only like one title or something like that being released by Lunar in DC, and the rest of it is going to be Marvel. The much awaited Marvel Ultimate Blind Bag is going to be released tomorrow. However, I want to let you guys know, do some research on these. A lot of comic book stores are actually claiming that they're coming damaged inside the Mylar bags. They're saying, some of them are saying that they were packaged correctly and so they were damaged when they got shipped to them. Others are saying that they were packaged just fine, but they were damaged upon opening. So tomorrow I will be opening a handful of them just to check the condition of them, and very well could be just sending them all back. I've heard or read that Marvel is aware, Penguin is aware, and we'll see just kind of how it gets handled. I don't know if they're going to be doing a new print run and just recalling all of them, or if they're just going to wait to see how many people actually put in claims of them being damaged and then assess it beyond that. But fingers crossed that there are more in better condition than worse condition, and people can still get the blind bags that they're after. I know several of you have asked for multiple copies of them, so we'll see. Like I said, just do your research and we'll check on them. I'll open some tonight ahead of tomorrow's video, and I'll even open a few on tomorrow's video just to kind of see what happens. As far as today is concerned, I'm going to be focusing just on a handful of new items and some cool stuff that's come in the store. I do have a long box of stuff that is ready to be showcased, but I'm going to wait for that for next week and just kind of do quality over quantity this week, especially since it's a short week. I just want to have the opportunity to, be ahead of the game a little bit, the end game, if you will. By the way, did you guys see the new leaked trailers for the Doomsday movie? I saw the X-Men one. Yeah, check it out. It's something. If there's only one thing that gets me excited about that movie, it's seeing the X-Men in a glorious return to being X-Men. Just the one little highlight reel, almost gave us more than all the Fox movies combined, and that's saying something. Anyway, so for today, there's a lot of cool stuff that I want to show off. First off, just to kind of give you guys a heads up, we got some more Tiny Ducks. I know a lot of you aren't super thrilled about that, but these things sell like crazy. My wife got some new designs. There are different animals in here. There's little owls and unicorns, turtles you can see right here. So there's a lot of different cool things in there. So you duck collectors and lovers, rejoice. Also came in over the weekend. I got a bag of California raisins. So if you are a lover of California raisins and dig the nostalgia, the 80s nostalgia of California raisins, I have a bag of those. Also, want to show off this guy. This guy's a real dick. Tracy. Got a whole tote full of Dick Tracy figures and toys, that's a redundant statement if you guys haven't picked up on that. But there's a lot, here's Prune Face, I know him. Here's Flat Top, I know him. Where's Big Boy? Big Boy was in here somewhere. Yep, here's Big Boy, De Niro. Anyway, so yeah, if you're a Dick Tracy fan, I got a whole tote full of them. Some of them have their guns and or weapons. Some of them do not. One guy met his demise and completely disintegrated, but all of his pieces are here. So I'll be gluing him back together so that way we can have him complete. And then let's see. So this is kind of cool. I told this guy, ABcomicswag, that I would give him a shout out. I found him in my foreign comic book collector group. He hooked me up with these. Okay. These are first print absolute Batmans. However, what makes these unique is that these are United Arab Emirate prints. So that's UAE, right? He advised me yesterday that they are sold out, that he can't get these anymore. They're going like hotcakes, just like you think that they would. But again, these are first print absolute Batmans. These are in English print, but they are published and distributed in the United Arab Emirates. So these are technically foreign print comics. So, but us English speakers, right? Again, they were printed in English. So you can actually have a absolute Batman that you can sit down and read that is a first print. Now, what makes this transaction cool and what makes this unique for you guys, check that out. That is an actual Arabic language absolute Batman _1. This is also a first print. Now, excuse me. This is badass. A lot of you guys may look at that and go, yeah, it's first print. That's cool. But to be actually, some hardcore collectors, look for these books in every language, right? And print runs are different. Obviously, they're harder to get overseas, unless you know somebody that's over there or unless you find somebody that's on eBay selling these specifically. They're hard to find. They're super hard to find. They're hard to get your hands on. So I ended up getting two, one for you guys, and then one that I actually sent off to get dual signed and slabbed in time for the Absolute Batman signing at CGC. So if you want a signed one, there will be one here eventually. If I don't decide to keep it myself, because that's cool. That's super cool. Hardcore collectors, man, get your hands on it. But yeah, anyway, that is a Arabic print Absolute Batman #1. Yeah, talk to me about it. Let's make it happen. My buddy at ABcomicswag is even, I asked him yesterday about trying to get me some Wonder Woman copies. One of them is going to be for me. One of them quite possibly may be a store copy. And then he's also sending me a couple Absolute Superman #1s. These are all in Arabic, so they're all going to look, like this, right? And also, one little factoid, these read right to left. So you open it like a manga and read it like a manga versus reading it like an American, right? Anyway, so yeah, super cool if you like Absolute Batman and stuff. Another thing that I got here in the store, any fish fans, I picked up one of them. I'm going to have to scoot back for this. Fish fans, this is, I was told this is the booger monster poster. Booger monster, slime monster, doesn't matter. Anyway, Fish. This is a Fish concert poster from Chicago, Illinois, 2017, right? So we're talking, what, 9 years ago, 8 years ago at this point? Yeah, July 14, 15, 16. So I don't quite know what the print run of it is. I mean, most concert posters hover anywhere between the 600 to 1,000 print runs, depending on the popularity of the show they feel, or, you know, ticket prices. I mean, a lot of shows sell out nowadays anyway. But, you know, anyway, yeah, Fish concert poster. And then this poster was also professionally mounted, right? So you got the paperback, mounted by local glass company, Morgan Glass. So it is custom framed and so forth. So it's a thing. It's totally a thing. But yeah, if you're a Fish fan, come in and snag that while you can. And then let's see, what else? We talked about the end game. I guess let's move on to the slabs. You know, you guys want to see some slabs. This is a customer book that got sent off and came back. First appearance of Iron Fist. So Marvel Premiere number 15. This came back in 8.0 white, off-white pages. This actually came back a little bit higher than we expected it to. So my cleaner and presser did a good job and got a good grade out of that book. Those older books are always hard to get, you know, hard to get high grades on. And 8.0 is respectable, you know, especially for that book. This one, this was a autographed book. A buddy of mine actually won this from the Todd McFarlane Whatnot show. This is Medieval Spawn number 4, autographed by the Todd father himself, right there, right? Came back in 9.4, which is good. We thought that we could get away without cleaning and pressing it, but it came back in 9.4, not cleaned or pressed. So there is a little bit of a, if you look at the top of the book, you can see just a little bit of separation in the pages, meaning that a press would have benefited it just a little bit, which probably would have gave it that 9.6, you know, difference, most likely. And then, you know, I'd have to look at the grader notes to see if there was anything like fingerprints or something like that on it. But, you know, if it's Todd's fingerprints, cool, you know. And then, let's see. This is going to be an in-store item, so you guys can actually have the luxury of purchasing this if this is something that's in your wheelhouse. But this is Wildcats number 1, gold embossed edition. This was a 1 per store retailer incentive when Wildcats first came out, and this came signed by Jim Lee. So they're, yeah, I wouldn't say that this is a common book by any means, but autographed editions of this book, it's hard to find it without the signature. Let's just say that. But yeah, so Jim Lee authenticated signature came back in 9.2. You know, if you're a Wildcat fan, awesome. If you're a Jim Lee fan, even better. But yes, this will be an in-store item if you guys are interested in it. The next 2 items are my personal items. These came out of my collection, out of my vault, if you will. Some of the treasures and spoils of my many con years and artist meet and greets and handshakes and opportunities galore, right? I had come to the conclusion that these items need to be not only encapsulated, but taken out of the dark and shown off to the world, right? They need to be well represented in the collection and not just a treasured memory hiding away, waiting for its day in the light, right? I'm talking them up a little bit because these are a couple of my favorite pieces. There's a couple other items that I'm going to be focused on here soon. But these were definitely a couple that I wanted to get taken care of quickly. This is Batman Adventures number 12. So the first appearance of Harley Quinn. This is actually autographed by Bruce Timm. That is the co-creator of the TV series and creator of Harley Quinn. I met him at Emerald City Comic Con a number of years ago. Coincidentally enough, I found this book in a dollar bin at Half Price Books in Washington when I lived there. I about peed myself when I found it. I was with my brother and family for that matter, and I was squeeing with delight and told my family right away. I was like, that's a $500 book I just found. And they're like, nah, yeah, right. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's... You don't know anything about comics, but that's what this is. And then coincidentally, that very next year, Bruce Timm came, and I met him and had him sign it. He was very short, he was not a talker. Let's just leave it at that. Almost seemed put off by having questions asked about character creation and the recognition that he receives with the creation of Harley Quinn. But anyway, regardless. 8.5, I'm happy with that. I mean, obviously, it's not a 10, which I'm disappointed by. But an 8.5 is still well worth it, especially when it was not bagged or boarded in a dollar bin at Half Price Books that I rescued that day and then quickly, put in a bag and board and then bumped it up just a little bit by getting it autographed. So... as a side note, I don't know the accuracy of this, but CGC, they are updating their census on their website that now include signature books. Originally, when you got something signed, it would just say signature series, and it would say how many books were signed of that book, and then the grades and stuff like that, but it didn't say who it was signed by. When I got that book back, the census shows that is the only recorded Batman Adventures 12 signed by Bruce Timm. Now, I know for a fact I've seen books signed by him on eBay, so, whether or not those will ever get encapsulated, and I'm hoping they will, because I fully endorse getting signed books slabbed as a preservation method. But that's, it's a thing. It's a thing. I was quite flabbergasted even when I saw that. I was just like, yeah, right now it's a one of one, potentially, but there has to be other Bruce Timm books signed out there somewhere. Somebody on a comic book group over the weekend had one signed by Bruce Timm and Stan Lee. It was not authenticated by any means, but he was trying to sell it, and people were just trashing him. Like, why would there be in a Batman Adventures 12 signed by Stan Lee? Like, and everybody was just chewing him up. Like, that's purely a cash grab kind of mentality, and some people are even saying that it could even hurt the value of the book because Stan has nothing to do with Batman or Harley Quinn in that regard. Now Stan Lee has written Batman stories and has contributed to DC titles, but not in the sense that this person is probably trying to angle their book for. You know what I mean? Now, speaking of Stan Lee, this is one of my more treasured books. You may be like, well, Mike, don't you have an X-Men #1? Well, yes, I do. It is a treasured book. However, I've talked to you guys substantially before about how X-Men #141 is like my all-time favorite book, right? I can remember the day back in 3rd grade when friends and I were collecting X-Men cards, specifically Marvel Series 3, and one of the cards had the X-Men Days of Future Past cover as the card. And to me, that was super cool seeing Old Man Wolverine way in the future, still living and kicking ass, doing what he could, but living in this post-apocalyptic world where Sentinels, ruled everything, and mutants were being hunted for being mutants, essentially. The X-Men had lost the fight, and to me that it resonated with me for some reason. And being an X-Men fan, it just, kind of threw me for a loop that, like, oh my gosh, like, they may not win. It's just a lifelong battle of controversy and turmoil, and, but Wolverine is still putting up the fight and giving the old middle claw to the regime, right? So when I had the opportunity to have my copy at the time signed by Stan Lee, I had to jump on it. So, this is case in point, when you're an up-and-coming collector, and you are just filling holes and trying to get books when and where you can, and it doesn't matter the condition, you're just trying to get something, and then, again, having the opportunity to meet one of your idols, you take your favorite book, and you take, to meet your favorite person, and have them sign it, right? So I had this signed by Stan Lee. This was like the second or third time that I met him. And then a couple years ago when Chris Claremont was in Cincinnati, I had him sign it as well because duh. And so this very quickly became, again, one of my crown jewels in my collection, having, the creator of the X-Men with essentially the New Age creator, because he's, Chris Claremont has written X-Men for a number of years, starting, in the, with Giant Size X-Men and 94 and so on, wrote the Phoenix Saga. It's a thing. So, newsstand copy, signed by Stan Lee, signed by Chris Claremont. This is one of those things that I will probably be buried with when I die, because it's my jam. It's my jam, man. I was so happy to get this, signed by Stan that day. And I remember there was a guy in line that was like, "You're not getting that graded? You're not getting that graded?" I was like, "No, because I'm going to try to get more signatures on that for sure. Won't be getting John Byrne on it, anytime soon, but I'm glad that I hung on to it and got Claremont to sign it, and there you go. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed a little personalization today with the slabs and the books. It's what we live for, man. Us collectors, it's what we try to dream to achieve, and all the money that we put into the hobby, all the time and the effort. I joke with people now that are coming into the store. They look around, they go, "Man, you got a lot of cool stuff." And it's like, I feel like an art curator at some time. I try to focus on cool stuff and cool things and hard to find stuff and hard to find things, because I want that awe factor. I want to have that stuff that you don't see every day. And that's stuff you don't see every day. That's the stuff that makes this hobby fun, right? So again, if you guys are seeing anything that you like, just message me. Just let me know, and we'll go forward from there. Tomorrow is New Comic Book Day, and we'll have a handful of stuff to go for. This Sunday, January 4th, is going to be the Knights Hall show in Indianapolis, so make sure you add that to your calendar. If you like the Wildcats, that'll be there. None of that other stuff will be there, though. Well, the Batmans, if you want to see the absolute Batmans, those will be there. But yeah, like I said, other than that, enjoy it. Stay healthy. Get over your sicknesses if you have it. That's what I'm going to be trying to do for sure, because my throat does not enjoy being irritated. So enjoy it. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Excelsior.